This is an artwork that I did in my first year as a professional artist. And it's made with mixed media. There's a wood piece here that's painted over with acrylic, and these are matting that I stuck newsprint to, which was the newsprint was drawn with pen and marker, and then I painted acrylic around the the pen work, and then with acrylic also I stuck the newsprint to the matting. I'll try to. I laugh because it's such an unusual process, and it's so strange to figure out even why I had this idea. But it's one of my favorite pieces. It's called Hard Times. And it was that first summer, hot summer, around June 2002. And I was working on a graphic novel. And this is a character in it. There was like two characters. There was like an emperor, and this was a Hannibal-like character that came in on an elephant with a minion of penguins. And this is like a moment before he ascends on this valley, which represented Rome. It also represented Ottawa. And I saw this character as he stops. Okay, so the materials, let's see if I covered all the materials. I should mention about the materials that they were scraps that my father brought from work. He was working at a sign company, and I was a struggling artist, quickly running out of money. At that point, I had just quit my job as a credit card salesman at a call center. That was the last job that I cashed out, like a $900 check, and I was just like living off that and doing art shows. And so I didn't really have materials. I was painting on the balcony a lot, and he would just either steal or take these scrap pieces from work. And the matting, I actually made my own frames for my show. When I launched the book, I made these frames with plexiglass, and I cut with an X-Acto knife the matting, and this was the center part of that. So I used all those scraps. Maybe I made like over a dozen frames, and I used all the scraps. There was a number 8 in the sequence. That's a little note. So, oh yeah, and then one last thing about the production. I would buy these large pieces of newsprint, and I would sit on my bed, kind of like just with my leg up like that, and I would just sit and sketch and have the paper move around, and it would create this loose drawing style. There's very interesting stuff in the fingers. The shoulder kind of almost dislocated there. There's kind of animation things going on there, like a lot of things that I learned doing animation for like John Crickfalusi and others. I mention him because this is very kind of loose. He used to work similarly, very loose. So yes, there was a number 8, but I had shown it at some point, I think like in a display window on Bank Street in Ottawa, and the sun tanned it too much. So I eventually took that number 8 off. And this sequence of the character, to get back to the character, the sequence is he's about to ascend with his army onto Rome, essentially, like Hannibal from history. And he stops and he charts his actions. And what he does was, so this is like, it starts at the bottom. Like it starts with number 1. So he's thinking in the first point. He grabs some sand. He reaches for some sand. I like the pinky here, just sticking up like a little tea thing, like if you're drinking tea. Then he picks up the sand. He's observing it. This is the flower, and in the graphic novel I reproduced this flower. Well, I mean, I photoshopped it and I put it on all the illustrations. And he tastes the sand. You know, moving it around. The tongue is visible here in this drawing. It's hard to see from your viewpoint, but the tongue is visible here. And then he spits out the sand. And then in this last pose, he's nostalgic about the sand. So what I was thinking when I did it, I was kind of imposing my struggles onto him. That's why it's called Hard Times. I felt that like him, I was scraping bottom, and I was tasting, you know, the mud of my struggles, and the fact that he spits it out and I essentially spit it out as a metaphor means that I don't want to stay there. I don't want to stay in that spot. I don't want to stay rock bottom. But the beauty of this piece that I love so much is that in this pose here, he's nostalgic about it. He wonders, what if I held that, you know, that struggle in my mouth a little bit longer, the taste a little bit longer? Would I have loved it forever? You know, could I live there forever in that state? And that's what that's about. I think we all kind of have that moment where we go through something in life and we wonder, can we stay in that state? You know, forever, like whether it's like you live somewhere or you're in a certain relationship, you wonder if like you would have made it work and relive that cycle forever and grow. So in that missing piece, he stands up. So he's kind of like just kind of getting up. And then the sequence continues. So, Hard Times, Mixed Media, 2002, Cristian S. Aluas. Thank you.